I think I get a real thrill from seeing a person change right in front of my eyes. It's like you walk into a museum, you see a Rodin, let's say The Kiss, or some other Rodin, it's a good example. And suddenly the Rodin begins to move in front of your eyes and becomes more graceful and more sweet and less metallic and more fleshy and fuzzy. And it just takes your breath away. It's like that. It's like people take my breath away when I begin to see how responsive they are. Or if they're really angry fuckers, they take my breath away, how I disarm them in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes. I think you've seen some of that.
So is it like safety or power, awe, wonder? What's the all the above?
I think it's all of that. I think it's all of that, Morgan. I think I'm a kind of hypnotist. When I see somebody get anxious and then automatically my speech slows down and I look at them, I begin to nod. It's very Ericksonian. Begin to nod. Oh, Morgan, there you are. You must be tired. You've had a long day, Morgan. Happy birthday, Morgan. You can now drop your arms. You can now drop your guns. The war is over, Morgan. Happy birthday. I love you, Morgan. I get into my own poetry, my own sense of lyricism and rhythm, and as I see that you're not such an easy customer, but when I see somebody really responding to that, there is more. And you have to have an aesthetic sense not to overdo it. You say you can drop your guns. You can't do it every minute. But doing it is like doing a song. Like Simon, what's his name? Like Garfunkel.
Paul Simon.
Yeah, Paul Simon. You have a sense of when to deliver. Sometimes it can be total nonsense. Happy birthday, for example. The fuck? It's not her birthday. Where did that come from? Okay? Well, she's giving birth to herself. And how she's giving birth to herself is she's finally ready to throw down. The war is over for her. She's really finally ready to give birth to herself. But somebody's got to be able to say it in some form that's acceptable, digestible, that she can metabolize, she can believe it, okay? And once you say it, and her eyes light up, say it again. Say it again. And you do a piece of work. The other thing is that there are 2 or 3 bands of work in your brain at the same time. So I'm working on gravity. She has to land. I'm working on gravity. Her face has to relax. She's really going to come to life, which means she's out of the war field. She has to relax here. Okay? Happy birthday. Look at me. Okay. Gravity. You can relax now. Now in your arms, let it go. That's it. Let it go. Happy birthday. So you're doing channels, 3 or 4 channels at the same time. Okay? Now you're being diagnostic. You're breathing too much. She says, yes, that's called this and this and this. Good student. Okay? Don't worry. I have a bag. I have a paper bag for your hyperventilation. She feels safer. She knows if she overdoes it, I'm going to save her ass. Okay.
So it's an interesting shuttle between the here and now phenomenology and some kind of hypnotic Ericksonian,
Right.
subjective,
Right, and also
dreamy
just-
kind of place.
That's right, and also diagnostic. Moment-to-moment phenomenological and clinical diagnosis. Moment to moment. How is she doing? Is she going to explode? You know, is she going to wail forever? And if she does, what do I do? How do I anticipate that before it starts? So the channels are always interwoven. All the channels are interwoven. But the thing that gives me the greatest pleasure is the poetry and lyricism of the interventions.
That always seems to be
How beautiful.
first
that
for
is.
you,
Yes.
in my experience of watching you work.
Yes.
Somehow you always put the reality of the moment before the clinical lens or before the therapeutic intervention. And that allows you to keep it real in a way that is very tangible and felt and effective.
Yeah. I think that's exactly right, what you said. It's exactly right. And it's also an affirmation of, for me, it's like they dug me out of the ground. They pulled me out by my legs, and I can see the sky, and I'm glad I'm alive. And it's a good world, and fuck the Germans, and fuck the airplanes. And I'm glad I'm alive, and I'm glad I have friends like you. See, I'm already doing it. So I think that every piece of work that has that quality that you just described is, thank God I'm alive. It's a good world. I want to live to be 90 at least.
So is
I
this
want to make love to my wife.
a more creative blending into the paisley skirt and the paisley fabric?
Yeah, making it, well, putting together little incidents like that, because that's also a way, telling stories and being transparent is also a way of endearing myself to people who are frozen. Most people are frozen. Not your people, because you've already warmed them up for 3 years, whatever. But most people are, how do you show most people a sense of endearment? That they are a dear and you are dear. That's part of it. I think that's part of it. The only thing I don't do is I don't flatter. And I don't say something that isn't true.